Hello everybody, it's Susan Lassiter-Lyons of the Investor Insights, where we teach creative real estate investing and finance strategies so that you can do more deals and make more money. And I'd like to welcome you to the Investor Insights online training series. Tonight's training session is the top 25 ways to find real estate deals. Here's how it works. We're going to go for about an hour or so tonight. And if you have questions as I go through the presentation, please feel free to type them in the questions box. And I promise I will get to just as many of them as I can during questions time at the end of the presentation. Now, make sure you have something to take notes with and probably a beverage, because I have a feeling you're definitely going to want to take some notes on this presentation. And I have a tendency to talk kind of fast. So there will be a couple of things that I know you're definitely going to write down. So I actually reminded myself to remind you that something is coming up that you're going to want to make note of. So we'll help each other remember to take some extra time with those slides so that you guys can get that stuff jotted down. All right, with that said, this is the deal with these trainings. I hold an Investor Insights training every single month. It is absolutely 100% pure content. There's nothing for sale here tonight, so put your wallet away. The live classes are always free. The replays are available to Investor Insights Elite members only. So if you are not yet an Investor Insights Elite member, I really encourage you to come over and check it out. You get the replays of all these fantastic trainings. I think we have like 30 of these trainings in the vault over there. Plus we have some awesome stuff, additional training, and we have Wednesday Q&A calls that are live just for members. You can get more information at InvestorInsightsElite.com. And the takeaways for tonight. Here's what we're going to be going over, just a little snippet of what we're going to be going over. I'm going to share with you the best online lead sources. I'll share with you my absentee owner strategy with a postcard that you can actually swipe. I'll show you how to work with wholesalers and bird dogs, how to find wildly motivated sellers on LoopNet, my super secret Craigslist scraper software, and how to get access to REOs before they hit the MLS. All in all, I'm going to be sharing 25 ways to find deals. And these are going to be, you know, not the normal things like get a realtor and look at the MLS or put up a postcard or an index card on the bulletin board at your grocery store. I mean, you know, put an ad in the Penny Saver and all those kind of things. These are going to be way more in depth than that, kind of super ninja, and these are kind of the best of the best. You know, I kind of polled some of my more successful real estate investor friends and said, you know, give me your best super top secret way of getting deals, and I'm sharing with you some of my best top secret ways of getting deals. And we're also going to be covering how to get residential deals as well as commercial deals. So if you're a commercial investor, don't think that you're not going to have find any value in this presentation tonight, because you absolutely will. All right. Before I get started sharing the top 25 ways to find deals, I feel that I would be remiss if I didn't go over some basics first. And that's going to be this slide called Which Comes First. Now, when we talk about deal finding, I think most real estate investors do it exactly backwards. They find a deal, and then they try and figure out a plan for that deal, and then they scramble around like crazy trying to find funding for that deal. To me, that's a recipe for disaster, and it's a surefire way to fail in real estate investing. The most successful real estate investors, and I know you're a successful real estate investor, or you will be soon because you're on this call tonight. The most successful real estate investors do it in this order. First, they develop the plan. And by developing the plan, I mean just figure out what your strategy is going to be, whether it's going to be commercial investing, and within commercial investing, is it going to be apartment building or multifamily investing? Is it going to be mobile home park investing? Is it going to be office building investing? On the residential side, are you going to be a rehab? Are you going to be a flipper? Are you going to be a wholesaler? What's your strategy going to be? And once you've decided what your strategy is going to be, then you have to figure out what your plan is going to be. What is your investing criteria? What types of homes are you going to target? What's the price point that you're going to target? You know, how much work are you willing to do on a property? Establish your investment criteria. Okay, all those things go into the plan, the strategy and your investment criteria and your exit strategy for your deals. Next up should come the funding. Once you've decided on your investment criteria and your plan, then you need to set about getting your funding sources together. You all know that I'm a huge, huge fan, a total proponent of private money partners. So I'm always 100% of the time going to encourage you to start out gathering private money partners. Other people refer to them as private money lenders. If you've worked with me for any time, you know that I'm on a quest to change the vernacular because we don't want to ever put ourselves in the mindset of the borrower. So I use the term private money partners. We're going to get debt partners and equity partners. Get your funding sources. If you have to use hard money, get your hard money lenders lined up. If you're going to use a bank, start developing relationships with the local banks, the smaller banks, credit unions in your area. Develop your relationships and get your funding nailed down. Then go out and find the deal. So by sharing these deal-getting techniques with you tonight, I am working under the assumption that you already have established your investment plan and your investment criteria, and you are hopefully either already have your funding sources lined up or you're in the process of establishing those relationships. And if you need help in any of these areas, I encourage you to visit the blog, theinvestorinsights.com. I have a ton of information up there about both of those topics. And only once you get those things covered, now we'll start talking about the deal. When I talk to real estate investors, it just makes me cringe when somebody says, oh my gosh, I have a deal and I don't have funding for it. Please help me, come up with funding for this deal before I lose it. That's horrible. What a horrible position to be in. It's a much better problem to have to be able to say, hey, I have all this funding lined up and I just can't find a deal to save my life. That's a much better problem. Much, much better problem. All right. First up, and these ways are in absolutely no particular order, okay? I just kind of put them up there just as they came to mind. So this is, you're, subject to my crazy ADD mind as opposed to some sort of semblance of order. So if you're trying to make some order of these strategies, then unfortunately I don't think there's going to be a method to my madness. They're just randomly shown there. So first up, Fannie Mae foreclosures. You can get a fantastic list and get free online access to Fannie Mae foreclosures at homepath.com. Remember I said have a pencil out ready to take notes? You're going to write the stuff down. I've got a lot of URLs to share with you because I'm giving you my best online sources in addition to other strategies. So homepath.com, you get free Fannie Mae foreclosure listings online. And the way it works is that there's a first look period that's for owner occupants only. So owner occupants, meaning if you're actually going to bid on the house or make an offer on the house and you're going to live in the house, then you get first crack at it. And then once no owner occupants are open for it or submitted an offer, then it opens up to us investors. Now here's a hot tip. In addition to being able to make offers on the listings that are on this site and to get free access to the information about these listings online, HomePath financing is also available, and this is a little known fact, it's available to investors. This financing has no appraisal requirement, low LTV requirements, and no PMI. I personally know an investor who is able to get this HomePath financing with no appraisal, no mortgage insurance, and only 10% down on one of these deals. So homepath.com, Fannie Mae foreclosures. Next up, auctions. Now, here is a big list of auction sites that I have personally vetted. One thing that you need to know about me is that I never share a resource or make a recommendation for something that I either haven't personally used myself or personally know someone who has used successfully. So these auction sites, I either have used them myself or I personally know people who have had success and gotten properties off of these sites. So first up is eBay. Hopefully you know that you can buy properties on eBay. So ebay.com. Second up is realtybid.com. HudsonandMarshall.com, WilliamsAuction.com, Auction.com, BidSelect.com, and EconoHomes.com. Now, the thing to remember about these auction sites is that each site is going to have varying rules and requirements. So as you go to these sites, make sure that you read the rules and requirements when you register with them and figure out, what do you need to, what qualification do you need to have in order to make a bid with them. Typically, you're going to have to put up some sort of a deposit, and sometimes even the winning bid can still be rejected by the foreclosing bank. So that's just a couple of things to keep in mind. But I'm going to leave this slide up just for a second so you guys can copy down all those URLs. And there actually was a question that just came in from Rob, and it's a good one I'm going to answer now since we're going to pause on this slide to let you guys write down these URLs. He says, Susan, why do so many gurus say that if you have a good deal, the funding will be there? Rob, I have no idea. I think that is the biggest piece of BS on the face of the earth, and I've heard it too. And the reason why I decided to position myself as the investor financing specialist and really dedicate a good portion of my life to teaching you guys funding strategies is because most of what the gurus have to say about real estate investment financing is completely bogus. Completely bogus. Okay? If just because you have a good deal, it doesn't mean that financing or funding is going to drop out of the sky. You still have to work in order to get it. And I'm a huge fan, huge proponent, and I'm going to give you this advice 100% of the time. Always get your funding sources lined up before you go after the deals, because you never, ever want to be in that position where the clock is ticking. All right. Next up, bandit signs. All right, here's a disclaimer. Bandit signs are illegal in most cities. In fact, I will share with you my bandit sign story if you haven't heard it before. It goes like this. It was a cold winter's night in the late 1990s, and I was under the darkness and cloak of night because I was too embarrassed to be seen out in the daylight putting up my bandit signs. I was putting up bandit signs. And I happened to be literally in the middle of nowhere, or so I thought, about 50 miles from my home, standing on the roof of my car, zip tying bandit signs to light poles up high enough so that people with their scissors couldn't come and cut them down. Because that's typically what happens, is that the minute you put your bandit signs up, somebody's going to come right behind you with a pair of scissors and just chop it in half. And I've never understood that. It's like, if you don't want the bandit signs to be there, why don't you just take them out of the ground and throw them away, as opposed to chopping it in half so that people can't see the phone number? That just is really spiteful and stupid in my opinion. Anyway, back to the story. Cold, 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 because I live in Colorado. It was probably about definitely less than 20 degrees Fahrenheit. Dark, 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 late at night. Standing on the hood of my car, snowing, snowing, snowing. Zip tying my bandit signs to the top of the light pole. And the next thing I know, I hear, whoo, pull up behind me. There's a cop shining his light on me, asking me, ma'am, please step down from the roof of your car. And he prepared to write me a citation for putting these illegal bandit signs up on these light poles. So this is a huge disclaimer. Okay, I don't include this because I'm saying, hey, everybody go out and do this and it's totally fine in your area. I'm saying I'm including this because the feedback that I get from the people who actively use these bandit signs is that they are by far and away the most effective lead generation strategy for deals that they use. Two things you can do with these bandit signs. You can put them in the neighborhoods where you want to buy. So if you have a target neighborhood, for example, there's a neighborhood here in Colorado where, I think the houses are just fantastic. I would go, if I wanted to just literally target that area, I would just drive that specific neighborhood and just blanket that neighborhood with my signs. Or if you're open to anywhere, then just put them at busy intersections. So typically, if somebody is stopped at a stoplight that is an on-ramp to maybe a busy highway or something,